Up for a little bit of shop talk. Look, a chair. Anybody showing up yet? No. Waiting for y'all to get here. Get some tobacco. Oh, hi, Colt. How you doing? Just gonna mosey on in, huh? Just interrupt me? I think I want to go in the house, huh? Is there like nobody here? Nobody gonna show up? We'll see what happens. See, as you can see, I'm actually smoking tobacco. Hold on, I gotta let this dog, ow, into the house. Come here, let's go. Get inside. Come on, go, 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 go. Alright. So, what's up? How's everybody doing? We're here just to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. If you want to talk about the drones, if you want to talk about the shop, if you want to talk about future projects, just let me know. I mean, I'm basically killing time until the gears get here. And I did take a snapshot of the orders. I'll probably post them just so you can see them on a post here on the channel. But the interesting part about what was going on was, yeah, I guess, okay, so I ordered during the Spring Festival. Not my problem. If you're going to be closed for that and not doing any work, why even be open to take orders on that day or those days? Not to knock them too much, just because, you know, it's been a long wait. A long wait. I ordered on the 1st of February, which would have been the 2nd for them because they're 16 hours ahead. Well, a day and a half, roughly. That's about a day and a half. Not a day and a half. 16 hours. So it puts it at, I hate time zones. Gosh. I always got so lost in time when I was in Australia. But, really? Not gonna work? Yep, here we go, PXD. So you probably should, I don't know if anybody saw the short, where I was checking the CG on the P-51. Can't fly outside, so I figured I'd try it inside. And I tossed it across the garage. And that was actually pretty funny. Because it actually, the CG is good on it. I think what's happening is, because I'm running a 3S pack in it, and it calls for a 2S, it's got a little bit more oomph, and it wants to pitch up when I throw it. So I tried moving the battery forward even more, and when I threw it, it still wanted to pitch up. So I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit in order to get some good smooth flight out of it. When all else fails. Anyway. Nathan Slate is what? What does that even mean? What? Who's Nathan? Was that the trick on the question? Like a trick question? I don't even know what that means. I must be like out of the loop when it comes to um, insults from this generation. Nathan Slate is. What does that even mean? Somebody explain that to me. You know? I want to try and give them the benefit of the doubt, but I want to give them more doubt than benefit. Just because, I hear so many complaints from the younger generation about doing actual work. Like they go in for a 4-hour shift or something like that, and then they come back and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I got to rest for 12 hours." It's like, dude, really? Yeah. You were stocking groceries. I didn't grow up with money, so I mean, when I went to work, I was clear across town. I was working in like 112-degree weather because it's California, and I had to ride my bike probably 9 miles just to get there, and then spend the whole day. And I won't say the company's name because I don't want to put that on the internet or anything, but we did floor removals like asbestos and in schools and city buildings, things like that. But it was all hand scraping that stuff, and it was just like, and then we get the back of the truck full. We have to go back and dump it, and they're tossing us like Gatorade after Gatorade just to keep us from having a heat stroke because we're in the back of a metal bed that's totally painted black, absorbing all the heat. It's 112 outside, and we're just like, we're gonna die out here. So we need something to drink. They were like drinking Gatorades and tossing all the stuff into the dumpster. Everything's going good. Marcellus, welcome. Justin, welcome. I still don't know what you meant by the Nathan Slate thing, but and I smoke cigars too. To answer that question, I've smoked. It's similar, except they're really hard unless you do it right. And I don't have the right tobacco right now because I can't afford a lot of stuff. But the getting it, it's similar to it, except it doesn't stay lit if you don't do it right. And if it doesn't stay lit, or if the filter's clogged up, you can't keep it lit. It's a pain in the ass, but it works. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Sag, how's it going? I'm waiting. I'm looking forward to the Metal Gears too. But what I was getting at when I was talking about that was basically it was ordered on the 2nd, technically the 1st for me. They didn't get it done until just recently, and then it went out into shipping. It's in transit right now, 4 days. I just got the notification that it left the origin airport. So at the least, we've got 8 to 11 hours over the Pacific. And then customs, and then from SFO, it'll probably go to Stockton or Sacramento, where it'll get dispersed out to me. So yeah, they said 7 to 12 days from shipping, and it's like been in transit for 4. So we're gonna see how that goes. Cause I want to spin that thing up, and I want to spin that thing up for sure. Oh, cool. Is Buck here? You always have something positive to say. Yes. The Buckster. Glad to have you here, man. Glad everyone's here. I might have to grab the battery pack and a cord for this thing, just so I can read the chat. Because if I get on the other side of the phone to read the chat, I can't see. You can't see me. So what's the point, right? So What do you guys want to talk about? What are you guys talking about? David Lee and Nathan. You guys are confusing. It's funny, I guess. Is that question directed at me? That's a weird question. I don't know why that was so funny to me. Buttered sausage. You want to talk about buttered sausage, huh? I don't know if we can make the jump from how big your poop was to buttered sausage. Um, that's sort of a leap. I think you probably have to put some space between that. Allow a few thoughts to filter through before you mention the sausage right after the poop. This is gonna go so sideways. Oh man. Okay. Yes, I wish that as well. I honestly wish I could get a metal laser sintering printer because that would solve a lot of my issues. I mean, a lot. At one point, I did have a mill in here, but that wasn't going to do me any good because it was a hand mill. It wasn't programmable. It was old. It was 3-phase, so I had to build a rotary phase converter in order to get it to run off of a 30-amp breaker, which took taking another 3-phase motor, running it through some capacitors, and then powering up that motor to generate the third leg I needed for the 3-phase motor. And then I could run it, but it wasn't programmable. It was all manual, so while it helped with some cutting, it wasn't any good. I really do need to get a printer for metal. Oh yeah, yeah, America all the way. Yep, yeah, I fought for that one. That was a fun time. Sometimes I miss war. Anyway, I I I guess what we're gonna, we're just gonna talk. We're gonna chill, man. Who wants to just chill and talk? Because everybody, I mean, they seem to expect. Okay, when I'm on the channel, yeah, we know what it's about. It's about drones. It's about the engine. It's about planes. It's about building. It's about crafting. It's about the hobby, right? But sometimes we can just talk. We can talk about some of the subjects, some of the stuff I'm going to be working on. But for the most part, I see a lot of channels out there where people just talk about stuff going on in the world, stuff going on, or whatever. But I'm not going to get as many views as they are because, you know, let's face it, I don't have as nice a cleavage. But that's the way it goes, man. It's the way it goes. I'm still not following the what is going on here? Do I use PLA arrow for your? Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't. I didn't use it for the drone. I did use it for javelin, and that's really the only arrow product I will use. ASA arrow is ASA arrow is one of those filaments that you buy when you want to be frustrated constantly, and you want to watch your printer's hot end look like it's just constantly barfing up everything, no matter what you do. But the PLA arrow printed actually quite nicely. Am I going to get on the Shrike XL? I'm 6'4" and 300 pounds. I'm not getting on the Shrike XL. That's PXD. We're putting him on it. We're strapping him down onto the Shrike, and we're gonna put a helmet on him, and I'm gonna send it. We're gonna pray for the best. Hey, 48 Scotsman, I'm confused as well. I don't know who Justin is. I mean, well, I don't know who they were referring to. I don't know who David Lee Nathan is. Slate with bid. Are you whatever you're on? Share, I guess, as you are somewhere else right now. Yeah, everybody's lost in this conversation. Let's see how lost we can make this conversation. Well, that's the fun part about this. How lost can we make this conversation? Can we make it? How lost do we want to make it? There we go with the buttered sausage again. Why do you butter sausage? Oh man, I probably just like everyone's like, what? Did he just ask that question? Why do you butter sausage? What a Philistine. Oh, are you on which plane? The one behind me? That one? Not a very nice plane, but it's getting there. Yeah, PXD, man. Someone's liking the buttered sausage. That just sounds bad. I'm not gonna say that one. That just sounds really bad to say out loud. Just say you like bacon, okay? Just say you like bacon. You keep saying I like buttered sausage, I'm gonna think that you have been in Kalinga or something for a while, and I don't know. It's a visual. Ugh. Okay. Oh man. Yes, you joined, my dear, just in time for the buttered sausage, and I'm glad you, this is great. This is funny. Okay. Does anybody have any good jokes outside of buttered sausage? I can't do it with a straight face. Oh, wow. Why were the Indians here first? I don't know. Maybe they sailed faster than Columbus? I don't know how to answer that question. They were already here. They came up through Sonora, Mexico. Settlers. I know something about that because of the my ancestry. I did my whole DNA thing. I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, don't give the government your DNA." Well, I hate to break it to you, but if they want any biometric data from you, they already have it. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm more of all these things that were considered conspiracies have almost all come true at this point. So now I'm just a Wikipedia. So it's not even a conspiracy anymore. We had reservations. Yeah, you guys. Keep talking, man. Let's celebrate. So, that plane. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this on camera really quick. Oh, hold on. Ow. That didn't feel good. Especially on that knee. All right, hold on 1 second. Can you see? I want to see how far towards the flag you can see, because I want to be able to throw the plane for you. I'm going to throw the P-51 again. So I'm going to be standing from over here, which is behind the camera. I'm going to try and, you should see it over the top of this plane here. Right here. So that's what we're going to try. I apologize for you having to look at my perfect ass. Now, let's grab a plane. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Can you see over there? Okay. I might have to move you. Let's try this. We'll bring the table up. Stupid chair. Okay. So, I may have to get the battery pack for this. Is it going up? It's going up. Okay. Now, let's turn this way slightly. And this is what I've been doing for like 20 minutes. But I've been doing this with the slow-mo camera because it's funny. Let's check the CG. Okay. Everything looks good on the ailerons. Elevator. Going for a hole-in-one. Yes! And it's caught by Old Glory. And then dropped. Okay. That worked out pretty good. Even has the battery in it. No prop though, because I took care of that on my last flight. Who needs a prop? So do we do it again? Get in Discord? Me? You talking to me or everybody else? Oh, you're talking to everybody else. Okay. We won't throw that again if you don't want me to. Because I don't want to destroy it completely. Everything seems to be working still on it. The engine. I just have to print another prop. And now that I know how it's acting when I throw it, I'm not going to be doing one of these things anymore, where I intentionally throw it into a stall. So, yeah, we'll just leave that there to, you go ahead and rest and heal. So, what else do we do today? How much more fun can we have? Back door's open. I'm glad I made that statement far away from the buttered sausage one. Hold on, I gotta close this. Inside of that, we've got the skeeters flying in. The mosquito eaters, and the wife hates those. I think my whole family hates those. Not entirely certain why. But, show the shop. Well, that won't take long. All right, so here we have, in this corner, I still have to do some cleanup over here because I have some stuff sitting over here. And holy crap, I have a TV. I'm going to put that up. There's a lot of junk in here I got to go through. You know how we do when we get to a certain age. We keep all the cords. And everyone's like, why do you keep all the cords? They're useless. You don't need them. And I'm like, you know what? What if somebody comes over and needs a Nokia charger from 1989? So I keep them. And then they do come in handy, believe it or not. But we have the shop over here. Um, we have some inspiration. We have one of my paintings. We have, oh boy, let's see here. We have the rigging for this, that, and the other. I fixed that microwave because somebody was going to throw it out. It's a Samsung. And I repaired it. She's in my shoes. So the dogs just chewed the tip off them. Anyway, I fixed that because the panel wasn't working. So I repaired that. It's brand new. I can put it up because the other one that I have, you have to hit with a hammer to get it to work. We have the plane. We're the same ones. Dude, I wear them until they just give up on life. I mean, that's the padding that's supposed to go under there. They're no longer comfortable. They're just so I don't accidentally step in something. Especially when I'm in the backyard because I have huskies. So, so here's the plane. There's the P-51. This is the MPCNC. That is the first Shrike. That is an Ender 3, which does actually still work, and I still use it. I don't like doing the bed leveling part. Because bed adhesion was always an issue. But then I found that Magigoo stuff that they suggested. It's literally called Magigoo. You can get it on Amazon, and it works great for any bed surface. So it works. It even works great for printing nylon 6 on an engineering plate, and it stuck. So that was some good stuff. We have the turbojet. We have some intricately placed wall tiles that serve almost no purpose other than aesthetics. I have a Mine Lab metal detector that's hasn't gotten very much use because I need to get out of the house. Half a Cuddy Black, and then all my gear for the metal detector. Now, it's funny because we were trying this in the backyard, and where we're at, we have the winery across the street, which is a warehouse of mine that I have to, watch over and take care of, keep the trespassers out of. And what's interesting is because of how old that is, we found out that where this house is where an old railroad track used to be, and then on the other side of that, in the backyard, were where the old houses used to be. So I took the metal detector out there, and about 4 or 5 feet down, we started finding really, really old medicine bottles and the old 1900s medicinals bottles in the some were in cobalt blue, some were in the green or brown sort of translucent color. We found preservatives jars, but the caps were a porcelain. They were like a bluish turquoise and mixed with white kind of porcelain. Not porcelain, some other kind of material. And we found a whole bunch of other old stuff down there. I found railroad spikes like 5 feet down. So there's a lot of stuff still out there that we want to get to, but that's the doorway into nowhere. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, there's not a lot here. I basically, and if anybody remembers what this looked like before, when I first started, and I had Stubby V1, which was the first one I had running. I was running it way before I redid the garage and put up all the lights and made it into a shop. And it was bad. I had a lot of stuff in here. It was just horrible. It was like 10 years worth of just, doing nothing. Except trying to survive VA appointments. But basically, I have coffee. Those have nothing to do with my, my projects. This was a birthday present, though. Yep. She saves on ammo when they come in uninvited. That's how we do it. I did print this on the bamboo, and what was the name of them? It was metal or gunmetal PLA silk from Bamboo Lab, and I printed the shipping container, and it kind of helps me keep extra stuff, like, oh look, another motor to burn up. Fan blade. What else we got? You guys like going through my junk drawer? Nylon 6 adapters. What else we have here? Oh, there's that cap I was talking about for the main gear, or for the main bearing for the front of the fan, so it doesn't move forward. Another modification I made. TPU tires, but out of the AMS TPU, so it's like a run flat. It's got some. It's flexible, but it's tough. Let's see if I can. How much weight does it take? We'll never know. Oh gosh, there it goes. Okay, well I have more. Enough of that. Oh wait, you guys belong in here. Anybody want a 64 millimeter motor? I've got a couple more. How about 170? I do have to admit, this stuff works pretty good. That's some good stuff. Green. Is that green? I'm colorblind. No, that's a gunmetal, sort of. I'll have to go back through the order and see which one that was. And then I'll get it to you. Look at Buck. He's like, wires! Someone likes wires. So what else do we do? What else do we want to see? Would you like to be in the ship? It's not done yet, but I've got a long ways to go. But it's fun. It's a fun thing for me to do. Sometimes, because these are supposed to be relaxing, but you get to the point where you're like, your hands stick into everything because you're using CA glue to keep everything down before you sand and seal everything. And then, after you get it stained. And it's like, by the time I'm done, I have no fingerprints. It's like everybody's like, well, why don't you use gloves with CA? Oh, that'd be even worse. I mean, let's face it. If I was using CA glue with rubber gloves, then there would just be rubber glove all over the model. So the ship is fun. It is fun when I get a chance to actually sit down and kind of just relax and get into it. Then it is. And then I get relaxed, and my huskies see a cat or something outside. They start to lose their mind. I think somebody's at the front door, and nobody visits me, so I gotta go get the piece, see who's at the front door, and then go from there. What's funny is sometimes, I have nothing against anybody, but I don't like entertaining people at my house. So when people come by and I don't really want to entertain them, I put this on and I answer the door with it. I'll answer the door with it, and then I'll answer it out of breath. And then they'll be like, well, maybe we'll stop by some other time when you're not busy. So, yeah, that's one way to get rid of them. So, yeah, it works. And for the sake of YouTube, that's all airsoft. 3A plus airsoft with level 4 plates. Because you know how they are. You know, they're going to be like, most people don't, like I'm told you're not supposed to show like weapons and things like that on YouTube. But then I see all these reels where people are taking Glocks and they're firing them with switches and stuff like that. I'm like, that's not even legal. And they're just showing off. And it's like 1.2 million views. You know, and then I 3D print a turbine like this, and I don't get that many views. I mean, what do I do? What do I do? You know? How do we get everything out there so people are like, I am interested in that. I would love it if I could, you know, get those STL files and the components list and build my own for my own RC craft. I guess it's sort of a niche kind of content because most of the time you're dealing with prefabricated EDFs. They're putting them in styrofoam models that are to scale, and that's what people are looking for in the hobby most of the time. I'm more of an old school, you know, RC pilot. Obviously not with the small ones. But, you know, you give me a Super Sky Surfer or a nitro-powered gas plane, and I fly those just fine, especially if I have a runway. That usually helps. Otherwise, landing is complicated, especially out on the street. Until they repave my street, I'm not going to fly. As soon as they repave it, I'm going to be doing it right outside. I'm not going to go down to the field. People are like, what about the cars and stuff that are parked there? I'm like, well, I'll bounce off of them. You know, I'm not going to do too much damage. Maybe not the Shrike XL. Won't be doing that out there in the front. That would draw some unwanted attention. But again, I mean, but not from any authorities. The sheriffs around here already know me, and they know what I do. So they know if somebody tries to break in across the street that they're getting flashbanged. So that's the fun part. All right. Any other questions about anything? What else do you guys want to talk about? What else do you want to see? Probably shouldn't have asked that. You know what I thought about doing? And you've probably heard this joke before. Well, I do EDF, high pass fan, electric. So I thought about starting an OnlyFans page where it's just the turbo fans, just like any kind of fan that I make for a plane. And that may tick off a lot of people because I will put a very deceptive, you know, like front image of, I don't know what OnlyFans looks like, but like on the front, I wouldn't even know what the website looks like. So the question is, do they go off of pictures or names or what? Because I would put something up there that would lure them in, and it would just be turbofans. And I'll put two together, you know, with the tips on them. That's as close as you're getting. It's what you might be looking for. But show Gen 2. Okay. Now, if anybody who's here now, if you're in the Discord, there's a picture up there of the V5 version of this that is basically all of these components are inside. And I kind of threw that picture up there so you can kind of get a visual idea of how it's going to look without the test rig in the front. I'll close off these gaps here, and then the whole drive system will be in the rear. And that's one of the reasons that cap that I found in the box over there, I was mentioning that was because I guess I'm just going to show you. So the idea is, this is a fan casing. You got your fan here. Bearing gets attached from the back. I'm not going to, you know, you have to put the screws in afterwards. But the bearing would go in here. And I'm just going to kind of tap it in here so I can show you. I'm probably going to break it. I'm going to be gentle. Very gentle. These are very finicky machines. You got to be gentle. Okay. Anyway. So this right here. Watch. Now I won't be able to find it. Damn it! See, I told you. I found it when I wasn't looking for it, and now, there it is. Gotcha. Okay. So, the biggest problem I had was, today's Nick's birthday. Happy birthday, Nick! How old are you today? Oh, should I have asked that? No, wait, that's with women. Never mind. Whew. So how old are you today, Nick? Nick is silent. Okay, being very gentle. Okay, there we go. So this cap will go over here, and then it'll get glued into place. And the reason for that is because I'm too lazy to thread it. But the idea is that the fan can't pull the bearing forward out of the casing. So when the rear drive is assembled on the other fan, with this fan can't pull forward away from the engine or the gearbox and cause any unnecessary stress. Now, the one thing I did do, and you probably saw the spin up, was I created a single floating gear rather than a full box gear that I had before the double. And that gave it some freedom to move if there was any kind of torque or flex inside the actual fan casing that would cause it to move. And that would keep the gears from binding up. Which is why that last run that I did on the short actually went a little bit longer. Yes, it still failed because we were dealing with plastic gears, you know, even though they were nylon. But the actual sun gear and the gears for that actually survived. Except for one of them, which was PETG. And now I can't find it because you can see how many gears I have sitting around here. But anyway, back to what I was saying. That's what this is for. So that'll get CA glued into place. Yes, the bearing will be in there. But it's not like if the fan fails and I have to start over, I lose the bearing. I might not use this one because some, you know, gorilla hit it with a hammer. But I was trying to show you what was going on. So basically, that's what it's for. I designed that to go in there so that it could be one solitary unit, wouldn't move at all. Happy Born On Day. All right. I don't think I can go into the... If you're asking me to go into the Discord, I can't. I'm live. And I'm not near my PC. And as soon as I leave my computer, as soon as I am steps away from my computer, the children get involved, and I never see the computer again until I'm done. Oh, look. Wally. I'm going to definitely make some sensors for sure. Because I have a whole slew of Arduino sensors. And this is just one of the ultrasound, or the ultrasonic ones for distance. And it can be used for other things. But I was going to put together a sensor pack for the purpose of collecting data on the Gen 5 fan after that one. So we are trusting in you in Teflon. Please work for us. All right, let's straighten some stuff up. The motor's beefy, ain't it? It's a biggin. And that's what's driving it. And then this is what's driving it, and then that. Ah, yes, the walking stick for when my knee goes out. If I can't see that at night, that smoky quartz, what I did is I put tritium in it, so you can see it at night. Ooh, let's see if I can shut down the... Hold on a second. Hold on, we're going to see if we can do this. You won't be able to see it, I don't think, but I'm going to shut all the lights off. I hope none of you are scared of the dark. All right, hold on. Shutting the lights off for a second. No, hold, stay back. Oh, look, you can see the turbine. Where? Now I can't find it. Oh, there. I don't think you can see it very well. Oh, you can a little bit. I can't see it. Oh, you can kind of see it. This camera really doesn't pick it up that well. I have another one, though. Hold on. I'm like walking around half blind in here. I can't see. Where am I? Where am I? I need more light. I need more light. I need more light. That's going to look cool in the air, right? This is going to go up the side. That's going to be fun to fly. Oh, yeah. What else is glowing? Oh, the stand is glowing. I forgot I did this in glow in the dark. Cool. Hold on. Let's see if I can. I know it's dark. Just bear with me. Where I'm at right now. I'm knocking everything over. All right. Let's get some light going in here. It's like we're having a camp out. You're like, no, it isn't. Yeah. Ah, there we go. Flashing light warning. Sometimes I'll put this in my car and just scare people in town. Because they can't see anything other than that through their rear view. And they pull over. So it's like if I'm in a rush, I just turn that on. Yeah. I built this out of 6 addressable NeoPixels, 1 Arduino, and a battery pack. So I can program it any way that I want to. I can make it do whatever I want it to. And I planned on putting it on the Shrike XL. Like I'm going to make another like 3 or 4 of these and just like make them stick out all over the Shrike XL and then fly it at night and then probably do the if the PLA holds up, I'll do it in glow in the dark, the blades in glow in the dark. I had one that was glow in the dark. I don't know if I still do. If I do, it's somewhere. I don't know where it is. Wow, that's weird. But this, if you have these sticking out all over the place, then the Jersey drones ain't got nothing on me. People are going to be, they'll be like, you watch. There'll be videos in the Central Valley of something with like 30 of these sticking off of it, flying through the air slowly over towns. I'm going to do that, and people are going to be like, oh, it's a UFO. It's a UFO. It's going to be great. It's going to be totally great. It's going to be so much fun. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Light warning. Light warning. Ow! Oh! Whew! As you can see, it's just something I threw together. But it was fun. like creating stuff like that. I have another couple of lamps that I created for my daughters, things like that. Get out of here. Go that way. Okay. I still got to finish this guy. I still have the rest of it to print, but I'm out of the gray. And I was going to do it a different way because now I have PVA, which dissolves in water. And I want to use it on these areas where... So can I zoom in on that? Yeah, you can see that where it kind of had some issues from printing too fast. So, I mean, I could slow it down, but realistically with all this... Get over there. With all the spikes on this thing, I think the PVA is going to be my best bet because it does dissolve in water. And that'll make it a lot easier to print. So, but I mean, the base came out okay. And there's a lot of detail in it. It looks really cool. But yeah, definitely got to do the PVA that dissolves in water. Otherwise, because supports on that just it's not going to work. But the trick, sort of like ASA, is getting PVA to print properly. The PHX lights. Oh, the Phoenix lights. Okay, I got you. You saw the Phoenix lights? No. Tell me it ain't so. I gotta take that out. Damn. All right. You saw the Phoenix lights. Who saw the Phoenix lights? You guys get to stare at the American flag while I smoke something I don't want to show you. Well, it's not anything bad. It's legal in California, but I don't want to put it on YouTube. You know, just because some states haven't legalized cannabis. I don't think. I think most states have. Have they? You know, a little bit of stizzies. So you saw the Phoenix lights. So what was it? Was it a ship? Because I personally don't think aliens are out there. Do you think they are? Now we've got a debate. Let's do this. Who thinks aliens are real? Damn. I'm now relaxed all of a sudden. I do not believe in aliens. No. I don't. And it's because I understand the vastness of the universe. And to think... Hold on. And to think, why would aliens be out there? And what time frame are we basing this on? Because we're somehow convinced, ouch. Damn. We're somehow convinced that aliens are out there. But we're basing it on the timeline that we have. We're basing it on the fact that as far as recorded history goes, and there's like, well, yeah, you've seen paintings, older paintings where they've seen stuff in the sky. Okay. Like Da Vinci did a couple paintings like that. But the reason why I don't believe in them because if they're as advanced as we think that they are, and they've been around long enough to be that advanced, then doesn't it stand to reason that if they were to send out a signal of some kind that we would have intercepted it by now? I mean, let's say they're advanced by, 1,000 years. And, that means that gives us at least 1,000 light years, if my math is right, to receive a signal. So if they're within 1,000 light years, let's say, and they're old enough, they would have sent out a signal by now, especially if they're that much older than us and so much more advanced than us, that they have these interstellar ships. And first off, if I'm an alien, sorry, I'm shaking the table. If I'm an alien flying through the solar system and I pass by Earth, I'm rolling up the windows. Okay? And we're going to be like, don't look at anybody, just keep going straight. And we'll be through this neighborhood soon. You know? I'm just not going to do it, you know? That's why I don't believe in it. It's because if you look at every other planet in our system, there's no no signs of life, no habitation, nothing that's habitable besides ours. And I know that everyone's going to say that you know you're basing that. My question would be, or my argument would be to my own argument would be, wow, that was a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. My argument would be, if we're young as a species on a galactic scale, then it's possible, with the diversity of the other galaxies out there that we can't necessarily see, close enough to decipher whether or not that there's life, that it's possible that they could be life on other worlds. But that being said, we are close enough and we've been around long enough. Even if they sent a signal before we existed on this earth, we would have received something by now. And everything has been. I mean, if we can get the frequency from a freaking quasar that's spinning 43 light years out, or whatever, and we can pick that up, but we haven't heard any kind of other structured signals from any other worlds? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think? I'm checking chat right now. Yeah, that's true. I mean, he did say that, but he could have been talking to Germany. Yeah. You know, the demons and aliens thing, the demon side of that is really more, that's more believable to me than aliens. And I know that sounds weird because you're like, now you're still talking about supernatural things. So, what do you mean? You believe in demons, you believe in angels, you believe in Christ, but you don't believe in aliens. And then they're like, oh, well, that's why, because you're a Christian. You don't believe in that stuff. You know, because it mustn't exist to you. I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. I think I like to look up into the sky and wonder about what all of it looks like up close. Would love to see it. That's why I hope I live long enough to build a ship that'll take me off this rock. Not because I don't love my home, but taxes are probably cheaper on other planets. I just want to see it up close. I've always had that desire to see everything up close. Every star, every galaxy, everything I can. To understand it, to take it in. And then, yes, I believe in a creator. So and everything out there was to demonstrate to you his glory. And I'm not trying to sound preachy on you. These are my beliefs. So when you say demons are aliens, it goes back to that old adage that, you know, beware of that deception, where they say it's aliens. It's almost like the government knows that Christianity is right, and they're preparing for a lot of us to disappear, and they're going to call it an alien abduction, which will pull everybody away from religion. And they think the answer. I mean, if they are real, if aliens are real, then well, they were also created. So I mean, because everyone has this theory. They're like, oh no, the Big Bang started everything. Okay, well, what was the Big Bang? What was before it? What created the Big Bang? What medium was it in before it exploded? If that's the case. Okay, and then their timeline on aging stuff's all off. We've got man's footprint next to T-Rex footprint, that kind of stuff. And they're saying, those were the Neanderthals. But I'm like, there's always going to be an answer that will be used to push religion away. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe it's aliens. I don't believe aliens. I just can't. I could see how a species could evolve to a point, and I know you're going to say, look, you use the word evolve, even though he's, doesn't believe in evolution. And I had this debate with somebody about that evolution. And that was that he believed in evolution, and that was the cause of everything, and that was the way humans are now. And I think to myself, okay, well, and I guess he didn't really understand my point. Let me check the chat really quick. I guess he didn't really understand my point when I was saying, I don't believe in evolution. I believe in the adaptation of a species or a life form to its environment. We've seen that. We've seen the adaptation to changing environmental conditions. Well, that's just intelligent design right there. So, honestly, that could be accidental. But we haven't seen any interspecies jumping. Like, we're not seeing, today, animals turning into humans or fish turning into monkeys or whatever the order was. It's not there. The evolution that I see is the adaptation to environmental conditions, which a lot of creatures do. Butterflies are a perfect example of it. You think you see colors in their wings, but actually there is no color in their wings. Their wings are designed to refract or absorb certain colors so that they can camouflage themselves in their environment. Adaptation to your environment. That's the type of evolution I mean. So, a couple generations down from a butterfly with red and black wings, it comes into a field with yellow and brown daisies or whatever and sunflowers. They're going to, after a few generations, develop the camouflage for that environment based on the sensory input that the cells get. That's intelligent design. You have a cell that's receiving information in the form of light waves frequency. Okay? And then it programs the cell that it creates next to do what it's programmed to do, which is camouflage. And then you ask yourself, well, how does the cell know that it's camouflage? How indeed, right? Design. So you can look out there and wonder about what's out there. Or you can look at something as simple as a butterfly and understand that there is more design in that than anything else on the planet. There really is. Just the knowledge transfer from environment to cell. That's not accidental. And if you're still stuck on the Big Bang, then what started it? What was it beforehand? Because you're looking for the how and never asking the why. Okay, if we can question, we're the only, and I had this debate too, we're the only self-aware creatures that roam this earth. We're not at the top of the food chain, but we're dominant in the world. And the reason why is because of intelligence and self-awareness. Because we have no natural defense mechanism that we're born with, like every other creature, whether it be teeth, camouflage, toxins, venom, that kind of thing. Most every other creature in this world, bears, huge claws, teeth, I mean, they all have inherent defense mechanisms. And the guy I was talking to said, oh, well, that defense mechanism is fight or flight? I'm like, that makes no sense. You're going to tell me that the most self-aware, intelligent creatures, I'm not going to say intelligent, that's a stretch, especially in California, creatures on the planet, their only defense mechanism is fight or flight? We don't have claws. We don't have fangs. We don't have camouflage. Nothing. We are separate literally from every other creature on Earth, except for save the fact that we all depend on the same environment. But we're wholly different from any one of the other ones. No matter what human being you happen to be, and whatever geological location, color of your skin, your background, it doesn't matter. You've adapted to your environment. Okay, that's the long and the short of it. That's the evolution I see in the world. Not, we weren't here, poof, we're here, poof, we're gone again. And that's the atheist belief for you right there. They're like, there was nothing before, there's nothing after, so why the hell do you even care about living? You know, if that's your viewpoint, why are you even trying? It's just taxes, it's just stress. It's just, I gotta pay this bill. I gotta make sure this gets done. If you're divorced, you gotta deal with the drama of the mama, or the drama of the daddy, or whatever else is going on, and make court dates. Or if you're a criminal, you gotta deal with spending time in jail, you know, stuff like that. And if you're a normal everyday citizen, you just have to worry about making it because the freaking chicken mafia is taking over, and you can't buy an egg anywhere except the black market. So you gotta choose your battles, you know, and decide for yourself. I mean, look around, open your eyes. You know, you think, okay, yeah, Darwinism. You're talking about a guy who you've never met, believing everything he wrote down. And then people criticize me for reading a Bible about Jesus, whom I've never met personally, even though I know him. We're not going to get into the doctrine, because you all know. But you're telling me I'm crazy for trusting in that, but you didn't know Darwin. You know, why are you putting faith into his words? Does it quantify things for you? Or does it tell you I can separate my responsibility from my desire if I deny Christ? That's what it comes down to. And that's what I fought for in this country. That's why I went to war. That's why I fought for that flag, because of the freedom of that religion. And I know you're all free to practice whatever religion you want to. No one's criticizing you for it. But when it does come down to a debate, I will tell you I will stand my ground. And everyone's like, well, you know, you went to war, that's violent. You know, that kind of thing. Is everyone getting bored yet? Let me see. Yep, people are getting bored. Cool. People, you know, they have their own religion, and you have the freedom to do that. But I don't have to believe in yours, just like you say, you don't have to believe in mine. I'm going to tell you about it because I love it, but I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to judge you, but in the end, I'm going to miss you. That's all there is to it. Because I'll put my life on the line for anybody at any time that's in danger, anywhere, if I can get there. And it doesn't matter color, skin, race, religion. Doesn't matter. That's my job. provide for my family, take care of them. If I see someone in need, fix it. If I see someone getting harmed, stop it. That's what I believe in. And I don't believe in doing the same to the other person. I'm not saying like I would hurt them to teach them a lesson. I would just stop them and let the law take care of that. Now, break into my house, I'm not calling 911. I think there is a direct number to the morgue. I would use that one. Because I believe in protecting my family. I believe in protecting the freedoms that we have. And now you're saying, if you're a Christian, how could you so easily take a life? Well, let's be frank. If someone's in my house and they have a weapon and they're robbing me, what am I going to do? You know, I'm a Christian, so I don't really want to kill you. But you are in my house, so please don't kill us. Just rob us. You know, when and then the argument comes up all the time. He said, well, what about turn the other cheek? I said, you obviously didn't read that one clear enough, because it didn't mean turn the other cheek and walk away, because Jesus doesn't want you to be violent towards them. What it means is you stand your ground, you turn the cheek, and you say, is that all you got? It's as simple as that. Because he didn't say, you know, believe in me and become the victim. No. He said, sell your cloak and buy a sword. That's what I'm talking about. Righteous justice. That's what I believe in. And now you're asking yourself, how in the world does this pertain to my drone projects? I'll tell you how. Because I believe there's a better way out there. I'm just going to come out and say it. There's a better way out there for transportation and energy. I think there's a safer, cleaner way. Trust me, I'm still going to burn that beautiful dinosaur fuel in my Hemi. But when I build what I'm going to build, it's going to be run primarily off of hydrogen fuel cells and burning hydrogen directly, which is I'm getting from direct electrolysis at a rate considerable enough to where I have to compress it in a 3-stage tank system so that I can use that fuel for the fuel cells and for the engines. I know it sounds crazy, but money has been really the only thing that's ever held me back. And it's just because I only get so much. And even if I worked, I'm taking care of a family of 5. Trying to make the channel because I'm hoping that I can monetize it. I'm going to be real with you. I want to make money. I want to make money because I want to put it back into the exact same thing that you tune in for. All of you. That's what I want to do. So you want to be real? Yeah, I joke around, I'm funny. I try to make it sound professional, you know, but realistically, this is a passion. There is something at the end of this project that every one of you will love. And you'll probably all want one. And then I'm going to go on to another project. I'm an engineer. I'm in college for engineering still. When I'm finished with my bachelor's, which I'm close to, I will get a master's in aerospace. I think I still have a few credits left. I think I had like 70 completed, upper level credits in university. I'm using I know I'm going in debt for it, you know, because the military didn't pay for any of it. They don't pay for much these days. I know I had to fight with their gear. So, yeah. But hey, military will get better. We found all that money. You know, I don't. Who likes Doge? Who likes what they're doing? Alright, finding all that stolen money. Because the only people complaining about it are the same people who say we shouldn't waste money. So, on frivolous spending. And they're like, I know Elizabeth Warren's pissed. Because she can't, afford the payments on her TP. The reservation's going to foreclose on her. And, maybe she'll get some grace from the Indians since she's not Indian at all, like she claimed to be. I can prove to you that I have Indian. I have Montauk ancestors. So I just think it's funny. I think they're all. It's like turning on the light and watch the roaches scatter. And I don't want to offend anyone at a time. I want to offend everybody at the same time. So if you're Democrat, I'm sorry. It's just I love you as a human, but the viewpoints that the Democrats have sometimes are just. Who sends $100 million to Hezbollah condoms? What for? What do you think, that's going to stop the war? They're going to stop reproducing? No. That's not. That money went full circle back into like some congressman's friggin' account. You don't even know that. Either that or it bought a pound of crack for Hunter Biden. Okay? And that's the truth. Everyone's like, no, that never happened. He was never on any of that stuff. And he's like at the White House. I saw him at one of the parties. He's like freaking seeing the meth monster hard. That man was wired. But the most secure building in the entire world had apparently the shittiest camera placements. So all the evidence just disappeared. Yeah, tell it to somebody else. And if I lose viewers for it, my views, whatever, my religion, my political standpoints, things like that. Republicans have done some shitty stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I get that. I think when somebody gets too much power, too much money, they forget about humanity. And what I mean is the rest of humanity. So everything they end up doing becomes about themselves. They become self-righteous. And then they don't care. Yeah, I'm facing real problems with, like, can I fix my car in time to smog it next month so I can pay for the registration? It's ridiculous. That's going to cost everything I got. And when they go to bed, when the politicians that are making money off of the slush funds go to bed, they're not worried. Even if they had the same situation I had with the car, they wouldn't be worried at all. Pocket change. Throw it out there. Did they earn it? Maybe. Did most of them not earn it? Most definitely. Most definitely they did not. And there is so much coming out. And so much hidden still. That I'm going to be completely and totally honest with you. It's going to be epic. Because it is far from over. Far from over. And you already know that. So I'm going to try and read some chats here real quick. Oh, yeah. 2 local charter schools? Registered here, no emissions. Oh, really? I don't have to register here. But don't I have to be living there for a certain amount of time? I don't want to. I feel like I'm being dishonest if I'm doing that, and I don't want to be dishonest and go down. I know it would save me some money, but render unto Caesar that which belongs to Caesar, right? And that's what it's all about. This mother pipe. Gotta watch my potty mouth sometimes. My wife gets on to me about it all the time. He's like, you curse sometimes. I said, I was a soldier, okay? And then I get complaints. Sometimes my wife is wonderful, but sometimes she'll be like, you need to slow down when you eat. You're done in 2 minutes. I'm like, that's how I was trained. I gotta burn this pipe out. Hold on. Glorious nicotine. She says I eat too fast, and it's something I never shook after the military. I can't. When dinner's set down in front of me, I guarantee you're not even started before I'm done. And that's all there is to it. And that's what Fort Benning was like. I'll tell you that right now. Delta Company, 347th Infantry Regiment, Sand Hill. And they call it Sand Hill for a reason. Trust me, I know. I have never in my life been so tired and sweat so much that my skin was stinging from it. It was stinging like needles. That's how much I had sweat out. And this was after like a 19-mile ruck march and then a low crawl through barbed wire while they're firing M60s above your heads. And then we had done Nick at Night where we were firing the tracers and stuff like that. And I did not have glasses at the time. And I'm a left-handed shooter, which really pissed off the drill sergeants. I'm a left-handed shooter. So I would shoot left-handed. They're like, you're doing that wrong. I'm like, I'm left eye dominant, you know, and I can't focus out of both eyes at the same time. So I don't have that stereo optic. Like you see those pictures that look like static, and then I guess you stare at them and an image comes out or something. I can't do that. Can't watch 3D movies. Can't watch, you know, the ones with the glasses. Can't do that. But they got mad at me for that until I got in there like, well, we don't have left-handed rifles. I'm like, and then they laughed like that was funny. It's like, well, they have left-handed rifles now, so who's laughing? And the problem is when you're doing Nick at Night and you're running tracers, you really have to oil up the weapon. And the ejection port's right here, you know, in front of my face. So as soon as that first round goes off, I oiled my eyeballs the whole night. They're like, shoot all the targets that pop up. And it's like, you can see all these tracer rounds going off. And by the time I was done, everything was blurry. I couldn't see anything. My eyes were stinging. And the drill sergeants, they were like laughing at me. And like, we were like passing money back and forth like they were betting that was going to happen. But, yeah. Those were some fun days, I'll tell you that. But yeah, all of my airsoft is left-handed ejection port. So yeah. So any questions? You should definitely get Taco Bell, Buck, and bring some over to me. I want Taco Bell. You mentioned Taco. You cannot mention Taco Bell on YouTube. You can't come in here and say Taco Bell and just like back out of it. It can't be done. Now you gotta go buy me a coffee so I can go get a damn taco. That's what you gotta do. You just talk yourself into a donation. Don't even try to get out of it. Just go to the Buy Me a Coffee link. And give me a damn taco. Because I can put it right on my Cash App. One of these days we'll have to go for a drive in my car. Show you guys how I drive. My wife won't like it. She doesn't like how I drive. Well, she does until because my son goes to work down the way. And every time I leave the parking lot, it's early in the morning. So, I love doing it because the sheriffs around here know me. They could be sitting across the street, and I'll just drift right out of the parking lot And they just they just look at me and shake their head. Like, one of these days we're gonna pull you over. I'm like, I do it when there's nobody out here. I'm not trying to get hurt. I'm not trying to hurt anybody else. So I do it really early in the morning. Or if somebody's on my property across the street, I'll go over there with my car, park in the dirt, and just rip it and shoot rocks and dirt at them, and then they run off the property. And it's some of the stuff I do. I should feel bad about it, but I don't, because I don't know what about a fence tells people, hey, come on in. Especially if it's a fence that says no trespassing. But I managed to set up those 209 primers with some Kevlar tripwires and a little bit of surprises here and there. Just flashes, nothing serious. But it does keep them off. Hold on, check in chat, because I'm in front of the camera and I can't see it. Daryl, what are you leaving for? Buck was about to buy everyone Taco Bell. So, I just wanted to get online and chat with you guys, because you're just cool people, you know? You've supported me. You've waited like I've had to wait, you know, for these gears to get this thing spun up the way I want to. And you've just, you know, kind of hung in there with me. And I appreciate all that. And the people who have supported me with actually making donations. Which I can tell you, to be honest, I haven't had a lot. PXD squared kind of in like 50% of pretty much everything I've got. But yeah, I appreciate everything that y'all have done. And I honestly wish that YouTube was a little bit more open to the science that I'm doing, rather than people doing stupid stuff. Like, I've seen reels that have like 43 million views, like somewhere around there, and it's just of some guy doing something stupid and then getting hurt doing it. And it was less than 10 seconds. I just don't understand it. Or the compilations where people put together compilations of people getting hurt, and you're like, how are these getting so many views? What do I have to do? I mean, it costs me money to actually run a fan if it explodes, and I have to do it all over again. So it's like, I don't want to do that. If it happens on accident. And, you know, and like with the ESC explosion, I sent that right back to Amazon. You think I care if China gets ripped off? I mean, their product didn't hold up to what I was putting it through, even though they said it would. And so I sent it back to them. That's the only way I've been able to stay afloat doing this, is if I burn up a motor, I send it back. I try to do it within the 30-day window, so that I can experiment with it. If it works for my project, it does. If it doesn't and it burns up, I send it back, get the credit, put it towards something else I need for the shop. It's the only way I've been able to get anything. Spending the money I did on the aluminum gears was a sacrifice, but I did it because I knew it was the next step I had to make. I had to do it. Just because I knew I was at my limit to 3D, you know, FDM printed materials in the realm of plastics. Now, PEEK is something that was brought up, you know, PEEK, but I think it takes 350C at least in order to print it. I don't know if the Bamboo X1 can do that. It might be able to, I'm not sure, I have to look into it. A PEEK is hard to print with, but it does compare in strength to aluminum, so or glass filled composites like nylon 6 or nylon X, that kind of stuff. But that kind of taxes the machine. So and I knew eventually I kind of had to get to a point where I had a gear system that wouldn't fail. because there was no way to move forward in testing unless I had that figured out, get that off my plate. I don't have to worry about the gears roasting. I just get them done in prove that they work, get them done in an alloy. They'll be more dimensionally accurate to the CAD file, which makes it easier to assemble, and we'll see how reliable it really is as soon as it gets here. I'm looking, like I said before, I'm probably looking at about a week, maybe a week and a half, possibly, before they get here. I'm not sure how fast it is. I know it's 8.5 hours over the Pacific if you go straight. You have to stop off in Hong Kong International, so about 11 hours, I think. And if it's on a plane already and departed, it'll probably be here by tomorrow afternoon. It still has to go through customs, and then the carrier will bring it to me, and I'm not sure how long that takes. But I'm telling you, I'm doing a live when I unbox those things, because we're going to take a really close look and compare them to the gears that I do have and see what we all think of the quality of PCBWay. And I don't want to be, too critical of them, because I did order during a holiday for them, and it is from overseas, so you have to take that into consideration. I just wish there was a shop stateside that would do it without, charging this huge amount of money. I feel like we're saying we're going to do things better in America. We're going to do things better in the United States. But we're going to put such a high price tag on it, you can't do it. You can't afford to do it. I think we need to get away from that. And I think that's why we need to go mining our own minerals and our own resources, and start putting all that tax money and tariffs and everything else in the back into the pockets of the people, so they can afford to go spend it in our economy, as opposed to, teaching Afghani women about modern art. I mean, I've seen that come out of Doge. Some of the stuff I've seen is ridiculous. You look at it and you go, pfft. You look at it and you go, who authorized that? Is there someone just sitting in a back room going, I got a car payment to make? Probably Adam Schiff. I got a car payment to make. We need to make something up that somebody needs in a foreign country that nobody can trace. I know. The people of Venezuela need beach umbrella insurance. Send them 80 billion. Ugh, it's just crazy. It's like, give me back some of that money. No, I can't complain. I get what I need, and try to put the rest of it towards this. Do what I can. Yeah. See that? Stress. Right there. Just kidding. All right. Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to read some chat here. So give me a second. Don't burn both in too long. I'm lost as far as your conversation goes. Is this thing dead? Can't follow along. Woe is me. I'll just check every once in a while. So, I want to fly this. I want to fly it bad. I'm waiting to be able to get a 120 amp ESC for this, because I am not putting a 100 amp AV in with a 90 millimeter motor, because that I don't trust. Those things scare me now. Okay, I developed phobias about this stuff pretty early on. When that first avian exploded, I just I didn't want to mess with it. Now I'm afraid to plug the damn thing in, and that comes from when I was growing up. I was poor. That's obvious. Um, I lived in a motorhome with my grandmother and my mom and my brother. Slept on the floor most of my life, but we were like parking lot to parking lot. Really couldn't afford to do much because my grandma was on Social Security, so on and so forth. It's a long story. The point is, when she plugged that motorhome up at my cousin's house, there was something wrong with the ground. So every time I touched the door handle, I got 110 or 220. I don't know what. I was electrocuted so many times. I developed a phobia of static electricity, getting shocked. I could have satisfied the death penalty in most states 10 times over. I've absorbed so much electricity. I'm surprised I don't have a superpower right now. I really am. But you know, you live through what you live through, right? I survived my childhood, I might as well make it work for me. So I do, when it comes to the ESCs, it kind of freaks me out. Like if a battery makes a popping noise when I plug it in, like that 48 volt, I'll jump. You'll see me on the video. And that's just because I got electrocuted so many times. I mean, if there's a war going on outside, I'm fine. Tornado, hail, whatever, you know, I'm comfy. Don't care. It has to be worldwide chaos, and then I'm comfortable. But if it's local, if you shock me because of static electricity, I will literally go to the store, get a brand new box of fabric softener, and make you use all of it all over you. Just like rub those sheets everywhere. Because I hate getting shocked. Hate it. And it's not fun getting electrocuted. Holy crap, it's more of a nipple. Whoa, what'd I miss? It's more of a nipple jump box now. What are you talking about? Big one, I made you smile? See, that's worth it right there. I could retire. No, all seriousness. That's what I'm here for. I want to make people laugh. I want to give them a good time. Make something cool, you know, and then share it with everybody. As soon as I make this thing flight worthy, and I've got a components list and everything, and it does something cool and does what, like fly, like it's supposed to, then you know, STLs go out to you guys. I've got no reason other than money to sell them, but I feel bad doing that. I do. I put the Shrike drone stuff up there, the STLs for the Shrike drone and the component list on the shop portion of my Buy Me a Coffee link. And I did that only because I put a lot of work into that. And I first started that drone on the Ender. That's where the white one came from. And then the next multicolored one that you saw, that was using newer ESCs, and the motors sounded different. You could tell because I went from analog to D-shot. And you can kind of tell where it was born and the progression of it. I really want to build another one. I have most of the guts for it, but I had money's always an issue, so I had to use the motors to test something else, and that was Javelin. So I kind of wish I had the funding to go ahead and build a drone like that, leave it alone, and then just put it up as an accomplishment, fly it around, have fun, or maybe improve on it a little bit. But I couldn't. I had to take the concept, move it over to the Jav, and then build the Jav, and then realize that, you know, I was a little bit underweight and knew I was gonna or overweight and had to. Although it did hover in VTOL. Uh, I had it in angle mode, so I know the throttle was limited for the purposes of angle mode, and I knew it would lift off. The idea was a vertical up and then transition into forward flight. That's why I had a top and bottom stabilizer instead of just a stabilizer and landing gear, because it took off from the vertical. More like, it would have taken off at an arc. I would take off, move forward, and when I got moving forward fast enough in angle mode, then I would transition and then throttle up, and then the wings would start doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to calculate the wing area and then calculate what speed I'd have to be at according to the type of airfoil I was using to start generating lift. And that's when I would make the transition. So I had to get all that math done out of the way. And I hate math. I don't like math. I'm more of a build it and send it kind of guy, but math rears up its ugly head and I have to do some like it. Especially calculus. That's such a pain. Oh my gosh. But it's a degree requirement, so you have to do what you have to do. I'm doing something called analytical geometry. And my minor is strategic intelligence. So government, terrorism, anti-terrorism, that kind of thing. International intelligence. What else? I can't remember all my classes. Let's see. A combat one? Hold on. Oh, a combat drone? FBI has entered the chat. No, I mean, worst case scenario, my thought was to make a realistic kind of airsoft thing. A drone that does the airsoft, launches smoke or whatever, that kind of thing. I mean, that'd be fun. But the problem with that is the government seems to think that someone's going to do something stupid the moment they get a chance if they want to do something fun. Nothing in this state is legal. That's fun. And it's not necessarily morally against any particular code. I mean, criminals commit crimes, no matter what they do it with. So it makes me wonder why you tried to get rid of straws. I would have broken in my house with a straw. What are you trying to say? A turtle? Why? So you can try to go up there and pet one and it bite half your hand off? Yeah, go ahead, save a sea turtle. Some people, they want to be one with nature so much they end up being excrement of something in nature. Naturalists, I tell you. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. So what else do you guys want to know about me and my somewhat twisted psyche? Yes. You have made it back. Congratulations. No, it never made sense to me how they were saying, let's save the turtles. And I think Tom McDonald said it best when he said, activism saved the planet. No more plastic straws wrapped in paper, but paper straws wrapped in plastic. Perfect set of lyrics for that song, I'm telling you. That was some funny shit right there. And you can't deny that. You can't. So what? You won't get So one turtle gets a straw stuck in its nose, and the whole world goes to freaking like insane, absolutely insane. Meanwhile, in southern Africa, they don't even know what a freaking TV is. You know, they're like, oh, we can't grow food. It's a desert. We can't grow. Get out of the desert. You know, go where the food is. You know, this is our home. Sorry. You know, your home is dried up. It's not going to grow anything. Unless somebody comes in and puts in some infrastructure. But unfortunately for your country, you don't have enough oil reserves for us to bring any democracy over. God. I'm telling you. I miss my point every time I go off on a tangent. I guess that's ADHD that my wife says I have that I never really been diagnosed with. But if you see signs of it, please let me know. I'll be sure and not pay attention to them. No, I'm serious. Sometimes she gets angry because I'm not listening. And I don't. Sometimes I space out. I mean, it's like, I know that. And she gets mad because she starts to ask me a question and I already know what she's going to ask. So I start answering. And she's like, you're right. It's exactly what I was going to talk to you about, but I wanted to tell you. You know? I don't know. This is weird. It's like waiting for people to stop talking. And you're like, stop! Like people in public. Like, yeah, they start talking to you in the grocery store. It's like, dude, don't. I know you're trying to be nice. But I'm going to lose it. And it's like, oh, you know, you hear about this stuff that's happening, and then just shut up. Yes, I know. It's going through my head all the time. It's there, and it has company. It's called tinnitus. And I live with tinnitus all the time. So I listen to books when I go to sleep. Because there is a constant screaming in my ears that hasn't ceased for over 20 years since it started because of the war. So the VA was nice enough to put it as a service-connected injury and rate it at 0. How in the fucking hell did that make any sense? Yes, we messed up your ears. No, we're not going to give you anything for it. Oh, there's a hole in your leg? Yeah, we'll pay for that. It drives me crazy. I have nothing physically wrong with me, but I'm on high blood pressure medication. My doctors have ultrasounded my organs. They've done everything. Everything. They go, you shouldn't have high blood pressure. We think it's stress. Do you have anything that stresses you out? I said, there's a constant screaming in my ear that will not quit. And he goes, have you thought about divorce? I'm like, no, that's tinnitus. And I'm like, I can't. They gave me hearing aids to make sound in my ear constantly so I don't have to, you know, deal with it. But that's still a sound. I just want silence back. And I don't sleep well because of it. So I'm up all the time and I'm doing this stuff because I don't get to hear music in my head. I get to hear 2200 kilohertz continuously. And you can't stop it. It doesn't end. It is relentless. So I have to keep my mind busy. So I have created ADHD. My own personal recipe. And that's all of this and the insanity that lurks between my ears. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Nothing ever came from anybody saying that was fun. We all go a little mad sometimes. Anyway. I'm going to drink coffee in this, what my wife tells me is an FTE cup. And I thought it was green. I thought it was pink, actually. I'm colorblind. Need more caffeine. Actually, I need some nicotine. Nope. Let's get back to seriousness. I'm trying to entertain people, but I'm not a stand-up comedian, okay? Because it hurts my back. I sit down. We've discussed this before. I'm a sit-down comedian. Did anybody see anything behind me just now? That's weird. Never mind. I need to smoke more. Tobacco. Oh, what time is it? 9:05. Everybody in this time zone, or are you guys getting tired? Am I entertaining enough to leave on? Would you listen to the sounds of my soothing voice? Ouch. Buck, you are a champion. I'm still waiting for my Taco Bell, though. Yep, this is my life. This is what I do. Children, wife, semi-retired to the point where I can't afford diddly shit, but I'm going to use what I get to do this. And I'm going to continue to do this until I am riding out of here on something that I built that flies. I'm going to do it. The reason why I'm doing EDFs, inducted fans, is because when they tell you they've made a flying car, they're lying their asses off. They're like, 8 powerful motors, 34-inch props. Yeah, land that in a Target parking lot. Be my guest. You know? I mean, gosh, Black Friday be a massacre. Decapitations everywhere. You know, flying car. If you need a helipad for a flying car, it's not a flying car. It's just a smaller flying vehicle. You need something that takes the footprint of nothing more than a normal size like SUV that can still take off and land in order to fit it into any infrastructure, and it can't burn fuel. It has to be electric. It has to drive air. Otherwise, it'll never be able to fit into the infrastructure. I mean, they did electric cars too fast, too wrong. Now look at them. They're all towing gas generators. That's stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. They look cool. But, you know, the Cybertruck, I'm not a Cybertruck fan. The Cybertruck sucks. Sorry to say. Not because of the technology that they put into it. Because it looks like something that came off of a milling table. It was a joke. You could have made it a normal car. Or if you're going to make it look like that, put some retractable wings on the damn thing. Let's get serious. You know? I don't like Teslas. Why? Because for 4 years, all I heard was you need to be environmentally conscious and drive an electric vehicle. I'm like, well, really? Are you going to make one that's in my price range? Which is nothing a month? No, you're not. Every single electric car you're going to come out with is going to be 40, 50, 60, 70, over $100,000. And you're going to be like, I don't understand why people aren't moving towards electric. You're not doing anything for the environment. The only thing you've done is shift your carbon footprint from your front yard to the power plant. You're not doing a damn thing for the environment. What you are is a freaking fool who falls for shit. Okay? I could have made you a battery-operated scooter for $100. You want to save the environment? Go plant a freaking tree. You know, or jail the vegans. He's like, we gotta drop the CO2 levels. Why? Because we don't want the plants to survive? It's already at the bare minimum for plants to do photosynthesis. You want to suffocate? Nobody wants to listen to that, though. You want to know why? Because you can't get on YouTube and hang a freaking hashtag off of it. No one wants to hear the truth. They want bullshit wrapped in plastic that's biodegradable. That's what I see. Now we need to get back to normal stuff. You know, common freaking sense. You know what the most abundant fuel on this earth is? Hydrogen. And we have a whole freaking ocean full of it. But no, you want to make sure that it's environmentally safe, that the animals don't get harmed. So what are you going to do? You're just going to dump trash into it. We're not going to harvest it for the hydrogen that it holds or the minerals that it contains. We're just going to dump trash into it. We're just going to have oil spills in it. Yeah, you're doing real good on the environment. Freaking hypocrites, man. Pisses me off. But hey, what are you going to do? Most of those people are born ignorant. And they're going to stay that way. And I swear to you, next time I go into the store and I excuse myself for having to walk by someone, I say, excuse me, man, I'm sorry. They go, what did you just call me? Ma'am, that's not what I am. I'm like, okay, what are you? I'm this, and this, and this. Okay, so put that shit on a name tag or a sticker and put it on your back. Big enough for people to see. Because we can't read your freaking mind and we're not going to play your freaking fantasy so that you can go home and feel better about yourself. Okay? You've already got enough problems as it is. You're arguing with me in the bread aisle about what gender I called you. So do me a favor, shut up and move on. Speak the damn truth. Don't fall for any of that crap. You must still work up. I love it. It's called adrenaline. Think mini B2135s, 22s, in GAD, in compact size, yes. I want to do an SR72. I want to do an SR72 with 2 stubby fans. Because one of my goals with that project is Mach 1. 2 of those engines in the body, Mach 1. And I will hit that goal. I will hit it. Because I'm not going to give up till I do. It'll take me some time. You know, it's going to cost some money. I got to do the whole fiberglass body thing. Means I got to print the mold. I got to do the vacuum thing. I got to get all the chemicals for that. I got to make the mold. I got to make the internals to hold the engine. I got to think about the leading edges on the wings. I've got to consider heat. I've got to consider the airframe and its structure to make sure that once it breaks the sound barrier, that the pressure wave that's created doesn't destroy the plane in flight. But I am going to make it to Mach 1. I'm going to make it to Mach 1 with 2 of those engines. And no one's going to stop me. I'm going to do it right over where I live. People are going to see this little SR72 right over their houses. And then back over the orchard where I took off from. I need to get goggles though, because I'm going to have to fly this FPV, because I'm going to have to go out far enough to make, get enough speed and stay level and stay at a safe altitude below actual aircraft, below 400 feet, and above the power lines in the houses enough, so that, and I'm going to put in fail safes. So if an engine fails or the engine starts to break apart, I can see that on the goggles. I'll flip a switch, pop a drogue chute, If I'm not at a fast speed, it'll save the aircraft and it won't damage any property. But I'm going to be flying over orchards and plains pretty much, you know, just open areas, some grass, stuff like that. So there's a lot in this valley I can fly over that's safe. I could go down the river channel, you know, and if something happens, I'm down in the water. So what? But I'm gonna have to get an FPV. I'm gonna have to get a really fast VTX so that I can track it. It's gonna have GPS, so you'll be able to track the speed. I'm gonna make sure there's proof. I'm gonna make sure it's on camera, and then I'm gonna call Guinness. I'm gonna say, put me in the books, boys. Because I'm gonna do that. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen because that's a goal of mine. A 3D printed engine capable of pushing an RC plane to Mach 1. Now the projected speed on this engine in an aircraft of a aerial wing design, if you take the wing area of an F-35 and the weight, the power to weight differentials, 55 pounds of thrust, 20 pounds for the airframe and batteries. That's about it. Anything past that, and you're, you know, I want to get 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1 on the thrust to weight ratio, so that I can push it. We're talking one engine is going to hit, you know, 300 miles an hour easy. It's going to take time to reach that speed, but it'll get there. So I'm confident that it will. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go with alloy blades is because I'm going to be pushing this fan till its failure point. So the aluminum gears are going to spin this up to about 32,000 RPMs. So 32 to 35,000 RPMs at max throttle. If the blades and the PETG hold, which I'm doubtful of, then we'll have a fan we can use. Whether it can handle the massive torque differentials from thrust and maneuvering and so forth, that's a different story. I got to get in the air first. But this one here, I'm going to put on some legs like we were discussing. PXD and I were talking about it. I'm going to put some vectoring fins on the bottom, put some legs on it, like the Falcon 9 landing legs on a SpaceX ship, you know. And I'm going to put it on that cowling, and I'm going to vector thrust it, hover it in the garage, retract the legs, see if the balance stays where it's supposed to be, and then have this cool single engine drone. You've seen, they've done it before with EDF motors that actually already are made, like something off of Amazon, or a 90 millimeter or a 120 millimeter EDF, but they haven't done it with a 170 millimeter EDF that's completely printed. That's what hasn't been done, and that's what I'm doing here. And I think that'll be a fun project. First, we'll go with the single engine floater. Then we'll make 4 of the engines as soon as I can afford to buy 3 more ESCs, 3 more motors, and a ton more filament, and some more bearings. And then I'm gonna build the Shrike XL, which is gonna be a big lifter. That's gonna lift a lot of weight. So I'm curious on how it performs. I'm curious on if it performs like the Shrike did. Because the Shrike is literally a scaled down version of the Shrike XL. It's literally a third of what it's going to be. So the Shrike 70 millimeter EDF drone was about 1/3 scale to what we got here. So a little bit less than 1/3 scale. So the fact that the Shrike flew well as it did, my only concern is a reliable engine drivetrain, which is the reason for the metal gears, and to see how they spin, make sure there's no wobbling, make sure there's no oscillations, things like that. So it's going to take a lot of balancing, different things like that. So I think the XL will work just like its predecessor. Or predecessor is probably the wrong word. Maybe it is the right word. I don't know. I'm not a freaking thesaurus. I said that wrong too. So yeah. You can hear my family and they're having a great time just playing music and tearing it up on my computer. So I got 6 people here so far. That's cool. 7. There's 7. There's 7. There's somebody else. Welcome. Don't leave. Bring your friends and family. All of them. Now. Don't you leave. Watch, it's 6 again. Nope, he's still there. Awesome. Cool. So, like I said, the Shrike was basically a scale, a roughly 1/3 scale of the Shrike XL, which will run off of those motors. So, if you think about it, the drive system, I think with batteries, everything's about 6 pounds on the motor, but it pushes 55. So, even with a 3D printed blade. That's why I want to do this in aluminum. I want to have it printed in aluminum or CNC'd, so it's been designed to be removable. You've seen this before. Because I want this to be printed in alloy. If the PETG doesn't survive full throttle, if the PETG survives full throttle and I don't see any noticeable wear or damage, then I will continue with PETG, and the entire thing besides the planetary gear system that drives it is going to be aluminum. That's the only part. And possibly the drive shaft that goes into the fan from the other side. That sounds about right, GXT. So, but I mean, this motor is kind of probably the standard I'm going to work with because of the KV that it has. And it's just a skateboard motor. It's just a motor for an electric skateboard. You see 2 of these or 4 of these on those off-road skateboards. I figure if it can move a human body, then it can handle 4-to-1 gear ratio on a 170 millimeter fan. So the motor will push it. It's 48 volts. I'm running the right ESC for it. I actually have more amps than I need, which is great for spikes. And it doesn't have its own BEC, but I do have my own BEC for it there, for the receiver. So I'm going to make the ducting for this a little bit different because this just comes right off. Unscrew it, take it off. I'm going to put housings for the ESC on one side with the receiver and then the battery on the other. And then it'll have landing legs. And they're going to come out and we're going to get this thing to hover. And I'll put servo controls for the vector fins here. And we'll have this thing hover on its own, carrying everything that it needs to carry, including this. I'll make a space for the amp monitor so we can watch that while it's going. So this will be hovering in the garage. Or maybe I'll have to do it at the field because the ground effect and the walls may affect flight. So I'd rather be out in the open when I actually run it for the first time as a drone. Same thing I did with the Shrike. I could fly the Shrike indoors. That was a fun little drone. You know, ran off a 6,000 milliamp pack, but it was fun. You know, and I still can't believe people were hating on me for that. They're like, this is horrible engineering. I'm like, well, I don't see you doing it. You know? So it's like, guess what? Your opinion means diddly shit. You know? Especially if you're going to be, you know, criticized without being constructive. Constructive criticism I get, I'll take that. But when someone's just doing it to be an asshole, then, I mean, sorry, but you're an asshole. So I'm not going to give you the time of day. It's just that simple. I ended up having to block him from the channel because he was just pissed off because I created something that he didn't yet, or he would have loved to, and I got the credit for it, or whatever you want to call it, you know? So 375 is used for a green and aluminum kit. That will be, or actually, PXD. I don't know what you're talking about, but the energy consumption. That's a good question. At idle speed, if you looked at some of the last spin up I did of this, which was a short spin up, but it was loud. I mean, I got farther on that one because I was using a floating ring gear. I think I tapped out at just a little over half throttle, and I was about 50 amps, 51 to 57 amps. But at idle velocity, it was at 11 amps. 11 amps. 48 volts, but 11 freaking amps. That's insane. I was barely drawing any amps, and I was pushing enough air to keep it hover in a hover mode. That's how much air I was pushing. But yeah, that was crazy. But when you mentioned the PXD, when you mentioned the 375 for an aluminum kit, it's actually, if I had a printer, it'd be cheaper. To be honest, if I had the printer, it would be a lot cheaper for everybody. And it's because I'd be able to do it in-house. I wouldn't have to wait. I wouldn't have to pay export fees, all that other stuff, tariffs, things like that I have to pay for the import. It would just be materials and time. And I can 3D print the fan myself if I had one of those, like Maker Forge printers or something, that did laser sintering. I want to do metal. I want to be able to do different metals. I want to be able not to just do aluminum, but I want to be able to do stainless. I want to be able to do tool steel, stuff like that, because I need that variability in my production to be able to make this a reliable, safe engine. And that's my main concern, is that it's reliable and safe. Then when I start moving to hydrogen fuel stacks for power, that's going to be a whole new ball game. So that's going to be Shrike XL, XL, XL. Shrike XXL. So yeah. What load are you referring to? Yeah, you can run cold. You know what's funny? I'm glad you said that, because the engine stayed cool almost the entire time. Barely got above, I think, 70 degrees when I was maxed out on amps. Or when I got to the max amps that I could run. And it stayed really cool. Plus, since the engine's going to be in the engine flow, the gearbox itself is actually going to, since it's been redesigned, it has fins on it. So when I make the box out of alloy, it actually is going to heat sink itself. And plus, I'm using the high temperature interflon paste so that there's no wear because of heat. So what's going to happen is that this entire box, is going to be cooled by the airflow right behind it. So it's going to be sitting right behind it. It's going to be, the high pass is literally going to be cooling this thing down at 0.665 kilograms of air volume per second. So it will stay cool. This engine will be cold in the air. So I doubt it'll have a heat signature, if any, just because of the way it's designed. Yeah. It'll fly a lot longer on a glider, that's for sure. More lift, the better, right? Yeah, that's about right on the payload. But if I push it out of angle mode, it'll probably have more. Because angle mode is going to limit RPMs. to the point where it's going to sacrifice RPMs for stabilization. So, and because I'm not an acro pilot when it comes to flying drones, I'm afraid I'm going to flip it over. So I fly in angle mode to be safe. And the big drone that I'm going to get onto and drive basically is going to be in an angle mode that I can't turn off, because the last thing I'm going to do is flip over on that thing and then, you know, get crushed. Because when I do the engines for that quad, it'll be 3 times the size. And that's one of the reasons why CNCing or 3D printing is going to be very important in the production of this going forward after this test sample is done. Because while this has a decent payload capacity, it's not suitable for everyday flying around, which is what I want to do. So, and we're not talking about at altitude. I don't want to be up at 400 feet in this thing. I want to be at a conservative altitude where I'm off the ground, but I can go over traffic if I want to, or over power lines, at the very least. But something tells me they might try to pull me over. I wonder how that'll work. Imagine that. You're flying in a drone and there's sirens behind you. What do? Well, if your drone looks like a Ford Bronco, you just go slow. So, yeah, that's what there is to that. I know it's probably getting late for everyone. It's 9:30 here, and I started getting ready to get the kids down before they get too amped up. Because I guarantee you they're going to get amped up, and then they're going to stay up all night, and I'll get no sleep at all, if I get any at all. But I've enjoyed my combo. I feel like I've been talking to myself. I hope it's been entertaining, because it's hard for me to see the chat, because I have nothing to look at the chat on unless I'm looking at the front of the phone. So I can't answer questions directly, so I apologize for that if I missed any. Next time I do this, I'll make sure the pad's charged up so I can actually watch the chat and answer questions. I don't know how much delay there is between me answering a question or recognizing a question for you guys, but I'll try and work on that in my setup if there is a delay. But other than that, I think we'll call it a wrap. You know what my projects are, you know what we're doing, what I'm passionate about, I'm a little bit crazy. I've made that apparent tonight, I think. But overall, I hope you like what I'm doing, and I hope you like me, because, without liking me, just watching my stuff would be boring, right? But I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you all that did stop by and watch. I appreciate it. You guys were wonderful. I'm glad you guys had good conversations, and my phone is about to die. So I will end it here, and I will see you guys soon. And we will be spinning this thing. As soon as the Metal Gears come in, I'm going straight to live for an unboxing. We're going to unbox them, check them out. I'm going to put the carrier together. I'm going to put the fan together. And then I'm going to get myself ready for a spin up. So, fingers crossed. Until next time, thank everyone for stopping by and checking out DPC. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment, join the Discord, buy me a coffee. Shameless plug, sorry, moving on. Have a good evening. I love you all, and have a wonderful night.